Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Newly formed Eknath Shinde government in Maharashtra wins trust vote with 164 to 99 votes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveils a bronze statue of freedom fighter Alluri Sitaram Raju on his 125th birth anniversary celebrations at Bhimavaram, Andhra Pradesh. Digital India Week 2022 to be inaugurated by Prime Minister at Gandhinagar in Gujarat this afternoon. Home Minister Amit Shah says despite challenges, the cooperative movement in the nation went from strength to strength. 12 people killed as a bus falls in a gorge at Jangla village in Kullu district of Himachal Pradesh this morning. President and Prime Minister expressed grief at the tragic incident. In women's cricket, Sri Lanka set a target of 174 runs before India in the second ODI at Pallekele. And in Wimbledon tennis, Sania Mirza with her Croatian partner enters mixed doubles quarterfinals after receiving a walkover. The newly formed BJP Eknath Shinde-led government in Maharashtra today won the trust vote on the floor of the State Legislative Assembly. Accepting the division of votes that took place through head count, the ruling establishment received 164 votes, whereas the opposition Mahavikas Aghadi got 99 votes. Shiv Sena rebel Santosh Bangar voted for the Shinde-led government. Bangar had yesterday joined the Shinde camp. 2 Samajwadi Party legislators and 1 AIMIM MLA abstained from voting, while another MLA of the Asaduddin Owaisi-led party remained absent. More in this report from our Mumbai correspondent.
Eknath Shinde returned to Mumbai from Goa. He had told reporters that the speaker's election and a floor test were mere formalities to the new government. The new coalition government led by Mr. Shinde and the BJP sailed through without any hiccups in the House. However, there was a twist in the tale as senior Congress legislators Ashok Chauhan, Vijay Wadettiwar and Praniti Shinde and 17 others including legislators of the NCP could not make into the House when the doors were shut for the voting through head count. The ramifications were the reduction in the cumulative numbers of the opposition confined to just 99. The day also witnessed another jolt to the Shiv Sena as one more MLA Santosh Bangar switched over to the Eknath Shinde camp and eventually voted for him during the floor test. Now there are 40 Shiv Sena MLAs who are supporting Eknath Shinde. Congratulating Mr. Shinde, Devendra Fadnavis assured him of his complete support in running the government. With Jivan Bhavsar and Kunal Shinde, this is Shailesh Patil, AR News, Mumbai.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today unveiled a bronze statue of freedom fighter Alluri Sitaram Raju at a special program on his 125th birth anniversary celebrations in Bhimavaram, Andhra Pradesh. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Modi said, alongside the Amrit Mahotsav of 75 years of independence, the country is celebrating the 125th anniversary of Alluri Sitaram Raju. He said Rampa Kranti for the country's independence has also completed 100 years. Paying tributes to Sitaram Raju, Mr. Modi said his indomitable courage inspires every Indian.
Alluri Sitaram Raju garu, Bharat ki सांस्कृतिक और आदिवासी पहचान, भारत के शौर्य, भारत के आदर्शों और मूल्यों के प्रतीक है। सीताराम राजू गारू एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत की उस विचारधारा के प्रतीक हैं जो हजारों साल से इस देश को एक सूत्र में जोड़ती आई है।
The Prime Minister said New India should be an India of the dreams of fighters who gave their lives for our freedom.
रंपा क्रांति में भाग लेने वाले भी कितने ही नौजवानों ने ऐसी ही आयु में देश की आजादी के लिए लड़ाई लड़ी। स्वाधीनता संग्राम के युवा वीर वीरांगनाएं आज अमृत काल में हमारे देश के लिए ऊर्जा और प्रेरणा के स्रोत है।
Mr. Modi said for the first time since independence, tribal museums are being set up to showcase the tribal pride and heritage in the country.
आजादी की लड़ाई में आदिवासी समाज के अप्रतिम योगदान को हर घर तक पहुंचाने के लिए अमृत महोत्सव में अनगिनत प्रयास किए जा रहे हैं। आजादी के बाद पहली बार देश में आदिवासी गौरव और विरासत को प्रदर्शित करने के लिए आदिवासी संग्रहालय बनाए जा रहे हैं। आंध्र प्रदेश के लंबसिंगी में अल्लूरी सीताराम राजू मेमोरियल जनजातीय स्वतंत्रता सेनानी संग्रहालय भी बनाया जा रहा है।
Mr. Modi said in the past 8 years we have worked with full devotion, walking on the principles of Alluri Sitarama Raju towards the welfare of tribals. AP Governor Viswan Hussain Harichandan, Chief Minister Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy and Union Culture Tourism Minister G. Kishan Reddy were also present on the occasion. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu also paid tributes to the legendary freedom fighter on his birth anniversary. In a tweet, Mr. Naidu said, known for his boundless courage, Alluri led the Rampa rebellion in which he galvanized the tribals to fight against the injustices of the British. The Vice President said his indomitable spirit and unconditional love for the motherland continue to inspire every Indian.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the Digital India Week 2022 at Gandhinagar in Gujarat this afternoon. He will launch multiple digital initiatives aimed at enhancing accessibility of technology, streamlining service delivery to ensure ease of living, and giving a boost to startups. The theme for Digital India Week is Catalyzing New India's Decade. We have a desk report.
Digital India Bhashini will be unveiled by the Prime Minister, which will enable easy access to the Internet and digital services in Indian languages, including voice-based access. Mr. Modi will also launch Digital India Genesis, a national deep tech startup platform to discover, support, grow and make successful startups in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities of India. A total outlay of 750 crore rupees has been envisaged for the scheme. The Prime Minister will launch IndiaStack.Global, a global repository of key projects implemented under India Stack like Aadhaar, UPI, DigiLocker, CoWIN vaccination platform, government e-marketplace, among others. The Prime Minister will dedicate to the Citizens My Scheme, a service discovery platform facilitating access to government schemes. It aims to offer a one-stop search and discovery portal where users can find schemes they are eligible for. He will also dedicate to the Citizens Meri Pehchan National Single Sign-On for One Citizen Login. It's a user authentication service. With Suparna Sekya's report, Anita Anand from News Desk.
Home Minister Amit Shah today said that cooperatives in India have done remarkable work in the last 100 years. Addressing a program to mark the 100th International Day of Cooperatives in New Delhi, Mr. Shah urged all cooperatives to resolve to do even better in the coming 100 years. He added that many faults may be found in the 100 years which have gone by. He expressed pride that despite challenges, the cooperative movement in the nation went from strength to strength.
हमारी संस्कृति का प्राण तत्व ही सहकारिता है और भारत ने पूरी दुनिया को सहकारिता को आगे बढ़ाने का, सहकारिता के विचार को देने का काम किया है। हमारे यहाँ भी लगभग 125 साल पुराना सहकारिता का इतिहास है। मित्रों, 30 लाख सहकारी समितियां दुनिया में और कई सारे देश उसमें से अपने जीडीपी का बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा प्राप्त। भारत में भी 8,55,000 सहकारी समितियां बनी और भारत की लगभग 12 करोड़ की आबादी सीधी इससे आर्थिक जीवन यापन कर पाए। इस प्रकार से हमने इस मॉडल को खड़ा किया है। देश के 51% गांवों में कोई न कोई सहकारी समिति आज अस्तित्व मना रही।
Mr. Shah said he'd like to congratulate Prime Minister that he created Cooperation Ministry and gave new life to cooperative movement in India.
मैं तो बधाई देना चाहता हूं नरेंद्र भाई को कि 75वें आजादी के वर्ष में उन्होंने सहकारिता मंत्रालय को अलग बनाकर भारत के सहकारिता आंदोलन को नया जीवन देने का काम किया है, इसके अंदर प्राण पूरने का काम किया है। मेरे लिए तो विशेष गौरव का विषय है क्योंकि सबसे पहला सहकारिता मंत्री बनने का सौभाग्य मुझे मिला।
The theme of the 100th International Cooperative Day is Cooperatives Build a Better World. Considering the importance of Atmanirbhar Bharat and creating a better world, the Ministry of Cooperation and the National Cooperative Union of India are organizing the event with the theme Cooperatives Build an Atmanirbhar Bharat and Better World.
NDA's presidential candidate and former governor of Jharkhand, Draupadi Murmu, today visited Ranchi to seek electoral support from members of parliament and legislative members of Jharkhand. Mrs. Murmu was welcomed in a traditional manner and greeted at Birsa Munda Airport by Union Minister of Tribal Affairs Arjun Munda, Union Minister of State for Education Annapurna Devi, and other MPs and MLAs of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Mrs. Murmu will be meeting with the legislators at a private hotel in Ranchi to seek their support in the upcoming presidential election. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Hemant Soren has extended a hearty welcome to NDA's presidential candidate and former governor of Jharkhand, Draupadi Murmu, through a tweet message. The two-day special session of the Delhi Assembly commenced today. On the first day of the session, Law, Justice and Legislative Affairs Minister of Delhi, Kailash Gehlot, tabled the Salaries, Allowances and Pension Amendment Bills 2022 in the House for consideration and passing. Our correspondent reports that the bill intends to increase the salaries, allowances and pension of ministers, members of Legislative Assembly, Chief Whip, Speaker and Deputy Speaker and the Leader of Opposition.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Newly formed Eknath Shinde government in Maharashtra wins the trust vote with 164 to 99 votes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveils a bronze statue of freedom fighter Alluri Sitarama Raju on his 125th birth anniversary celebrations at Bhimavaram, Uttar Pradesh. Digital India Week 2022 to be inaugurated by Prime Minister at Gandhinagar in Gujarat this afternoon. Home Minister Amit Shah says despite challenges, the cooperative movement in the nation went from strength to strength. 12 people killed as a bus falls in a gorge at Jangla village in Kulu district of Himachal Pradesh this morning. President and Prime Minister expressed grief at the tragic incident. In women's cricket, Sri Lanka set a target of 174 runs before India in the second ODI at Palakkale. And in Wimbledon tennis, Sania Mirza with a Croatian partner enters mixed doubles quarterfinals after receiving a walkover. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
कॉम्पिटिशन्स की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी तो आपके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो लाया है कार्यक्रम अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछते हैं सवाल 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करते हैं abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर, जिसके जवाब एक्सपर्ट देंगे शनिवार रात 9:30 बजे। इस बार का विषय है ज्योग्राफी यानी कि भूगोल और प्रश्न भेजने की अंतिम तारीख है 6 जुलाई। आपके सवालों का हम कर रहे हैं इंतजार। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
Welcome back to the Midday News. In Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath's government has completed 100 days of its second term today. The Chief Minister shared the achievements of his government during the period at a press conference in Lucknow today. He said 97 promises out of the 132 made in the Lok Kalyan Sankalp Patra of the party during elections have been fulfilled in just 100 days. He said his government worked on every front during this period. Yogi Adityanath said there was crisis of identity for the state before 2017 and the state was lacking in implementation of the central government schemes. He said his government changed the perception and image of Uttar Pradesh and that is why investment is now coming to the state and development is reaching new heights. Mr. Yogi further said his government has made efforts to bring rule of law in the state. Illegal property of mafia elements worth 844 crore rupees has been seized in the last 100 days in the state. Yogi Adityanath said for the first time in the state, loudspeakers violating the permitted decibel limit were either removed or their volume was restricted. The Yogi government took oath for the second time on March the 25th this year. All ministers of the state government also held press conferences to list the achievements of the government. In Himachal Pradesh, at least 12 people were killed and 3 were injured as a private bus fell into a deep gorge near Jangla village at Sanj Valley in Kullu district this morning. According to the district administration, the Sanj-bound bus fell into a gorge around 8:30 a.m. District officials and rescue team have reached the spot and are carrying out relief and rescue operation. The injured were being taken to a nearby hospital for treatment when reports last came in. The cause of the accident is yet to be ascertained. President Ramnath Kovind, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chief Minister Jairam Thakur have expressed grief at the death of several persons, including students, in the accident. In a tweet, the President extended his condolences to the bereaved families who lost their children and loved ones. He also prayed for speedy recovery of those injured. The Prime Minister in a tweet said the local administration is providing all possible assistance to those affected. Mr. Modi has approved an ex gratia of 2 lakh rupees each from PM's National Relief Fund for the next of kin of those who lost their lives. The injured would be given 50,000 rupees each. Chief Minister Jairam Thakur thanked the Prime Minister for approving an ex gratia from PM-NRF. He asked the Chief Secretary to personally supervise the relief and rescue operations. He said a magisterial inquiry has been ordered and ADM Kullu would probe the whole incident. Jairam Thakur said 5 lakh rupees would be provided to the next of kin of the deceased, whereas 15,000 rupees would be provided as immediate relief to each injured person. He said free treatment would also be given to the injured persons.
In Manipur, the death toll in the landslide incident in Noni district has increased to 42 as 8 more bodies, including that of a 2-year-old child, were recovered yesterday. The Union Minister of the State, Dr. Subhash Sarkar, and others visited the landslide areas and assessed the rescue operation. Dr. Sarkar said the centre is ready to provide all possible help for the rescue operation. He also wished for all injured persons to recover at the earliest. More than 197 crore 98 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far. Over 1,78,000 vaccine doses were administered in the last 24 hours. During the same period, 16,135 new COVID cases were reported in the country and 13,958 people recovered. India's active caseload currently stands at over 1,13,000 and it is at 0.26%. The recovery rate stands at 98.53%. And now let's listen to a special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this struggle every day.
In today's episode, we pay our tributes to patriot saint Swami Vivekanand, who died on the 4th of July 1902. His vast knowledge of Eastern and Western culture, as well as his deep spiritual insight and broad human sympathy, made an irresistible appeal to humans across the world who came in contact with him. At the Parliament of Religions held in Chicago in 1893, Swami Vivekanand represented India and its cultural heritage.
I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. We believe not only in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true. I am proud to belong to a nation which has sheltered the persecuted and the refugees of all religions and all nations of the earth. As the different streams, having their sources in different places, all mingle their water in the sea, so, O Lord, the different paths which men take through different tendencies, various though they appear, crooked or straight, all lead to Thee.
Through his mission of interpreting India's spiritual culture, especially Vedantic philosophy, Swami Vivekananda inspired the Indian national consciousness. He enriched religious consciousness through the rational and humanistic teachings of the Vedanta philosophy. His mission was both national and international. A lover of mankind, he strove to promote peace and human brotherhood.
Tumi sadhana, tumi pujana, tumi bhakti kushuma chandana.
Swami Vivekanand organized the Ramakrishna Order of Monks, which is the most outstanding religious organization of modern India.
Swami Vivekananda once spoke of himself as a condensed India. In the course of a short life of 39 years, he left for posterity his 4 classics, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga and Raj Yoga. All India Radio News salutes the great patriot saint Swami Vivekananda.
We also remember Gandhian freedom fighter Pingala Venkaiah, who died on the 4th of July 1963. India's national flag is based upon his design, which Pingala Venkaiah first presented to Mahatma Gandhi in 1921.
Pingala Venkaiah was born on the 2nd of August 1876 in Krishna district of Andhra Pradesh. He served as a soldier in the British Army in South Africa during the Anglo-Boer War in Africa, where he first met Mahatma Gandhi. He was 19 when the meeting took place and formed an association which would last for more than 50 years.
Pingala Venkaiah met Gandhiji once again in Vijayawada and showed him his publication with the various designs of the flag. Acknowledging the need for a national flag, Gandhiji then asked Venkaiah to design a new flag and present it at the National Congress meeting in 1921. Initially, Venkaiah came up with red and green colors, but it later evolved with saffron color, a spinning wheel at the center, and a third color, white. The flag was officially adopted by the Indian National Congress in 1931.
In 2009, the Government of India issued a stamp to commemorate him. In 2015, the All India Radio Vijayawada station was named after Pingala Venkaiah. We pay tribute to the great nationalist.
We also remember independence activist Hemant Kumar Nayak, who died on the 4th of July 1932. A resident of Medinipur, West Bengal, Hemant joined a large gathering in his hometown to celebrate the All India Prisoners' Day on 4th of July 1932. Despite permission from the authorities, the police forcefully declared the meeting unlawful and tried to disperse the gathering. When the people refused to disperse, the police opened fire, killing many people on the spot, including Hemant Kumar Nayak. We salute the brave martyr. That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Women and Child Development Minister Smriti Zubin Irani today said the combined efforts of the centre and state governments can enhance women's empowerment. She assured that the centre will extend all support to states and union territories in expanding their infrastructure, like setting up one-stop centres and new Anganwadis. Addressing a zonal conference of Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and Lakshadweep in Hyderabad today, the minister said the centre will sanction maximum possible number of new Anganwadis and child care centres. Tribal areas are seeking establishment of these new centres in the wake of increasing awareness about nutrition.
Minister Rathod was kind enough to refer to my days in communication and remind me of the fact that I was once deemed Telangana Tali. And as is the culture in our country, when Tali comes to town, she reminds children of what has been done and what can be done. It is one of life's greatest blessings that we live in a country where women have been revered for years, for centuries, as the epitome of Shakti. But we as a nation are also mindful that women face challenges every day, and those challenges can be met with solutions if policies are designed such.
The minister also interacted with the beneficiaries of various programs like PM Matritva Yojana, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao and other schemes on the occasion. Delhi Police Special Cell has arrested Ankit Sirsa, main shooter in Sidhu Moosewala case. Ankit was one of the shooters involved in the killing of Punjabi singer Sidhu Moosewala.
In Jammu and Kashmir, a militant hideout was busted in Rajouri district of Jammu division today, leading to the recovery of 6 sticky bombs along with other arms and ammunition. AIR Jammu correspondent reports that the hideout was busted at the disclosure of Lashkar-e-Taiba LET commander Talib Hussain Shah, who along with his associate Faisal Ahmad Dar were overpowered by the people and handed over to the police in a remote village in Riyasi district yesterday. Shah revealed the presence of a hideout in Draj village of Rajouri district during questioning, and accordingly a raid was carried out by the police and the hideout was busted. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur remembered Swami Vivekanand on his death anniversary today. In a tweet, Mr. Thakur said, Swami Vivekanand put forth the true nature of Hindutva and Hindustan on the world stage. He said Swami Vivekanand is a source of inspiration for crores of youths.
Department of Telecommunications has issued an advisory to the general public on the proper use of wireless jammer and booster or repeaters. The advisory issued on the 1st of this month has stated that the use of cellular signal jammer, GPS blocker or other signal jamming device is generally illegal except specifically permitted by the government. The detailed guidelines in this regard are available at capsec.gov.in. Private sector organizations or private individuals cannot procure or use jammers in India. The advisory also stated that it is unlawful to advertise, sell, distribute, import or market signal jamming devices in India except as permitted under the guidelines. In Sri Lanka, Energy Minister Kanchana Vijayasekara has issued a stock warning over the country's fuel stocks. Kanchana Vijayasekara yesterday said the country only had enough petrol left for less than a day under regular demand. He also said its next petrol shipment was not due for more than 2 weeks. Last week, Sri Lanka suspended sales of petrol and diesel for non-essential vehicles as it struggles to pay for imports like fuel, food and medicines. The government also extended school closures for 1 week because there is not enough fuel for teachers and parents to get children to classrooms.
In tennis, Indian tennis ace Sania Mirza and a Croatian partner Mate Pavic have reached the mixed doubles quarterfinals after receiving a walkover in the round of 16 match. The Indo-Croatian pair will take on Australian-Canadian pair of John Pearce and Gabriela Dabrowski in the quarterfinals today. In the other mixed doubles scheduled for today, Americans Jack Sock and Coco Gauff will meet Edward Roger Vasselin and Elise Cornet of France. Meanwhile, Novak Djokovic has entered the quarterfinals of the men's singles for the 13th time in his career by beating Tim van Rijthoven. With this victory, Djokovic has set up a quarterfinal clash with Yannick Sinner of Italy. Belgian David Goffin won against American Francis Tiafoe to reach the quarterfinals in the men's singles. In women's singles, number 3 seed Ons Jabeur, Marie Voskova, Zhu Niema and Tatiana Maria have already entered the quarterfinals. In women's cricket, chasing the target of 174 runs, India with 35 for no loss and 6.3 overs against Sri Lanka in the second ODI of the 3-match series at Palakkele when reports last came in. India opted to bowl after winning the toss. The hosts scored 173 runs in the stipulated 50 overs. Ama Kanchana 47 and Nilakshi De Silva 32 were the top scorers for them. For India, Renuka Singh claimed 4 wickets, while Meghna Singh and Dipti Sharma took 2 wickets each. In cricket, India are in a commanding position ahead of the 4th test play in the ongoing 5th test against England at Edgbaston in Birmingham. On the 3rd day yesterday, Cheteshwar Pujara's 50 helped India to take a 257-run lead. Visitors are at 125 for the loss of 3 wickets with Pujara and Rishabh Pant on the crease. Earlier, India bowled out England on 284, taking a solid 132-run lead from the first inning score of 416.
The Sensex and the Nifty were trading almost flat in afternoon trade today. Both stock indices added marginally amid mixed global cues. Sensex was trading above 52,900 points, while Nifty was trading near 15,750 level. Now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Newly formed Eknath Shinde government in Maharashtra wins trust vote with 164 to 99 votes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveils bronze statue of freedom fighter Alluri Sitaram Raju on his 125th birth anniversary celebrations at Bhimavaram, Andhra Pradesh. Digital India Week 2022 to be inaugurated by Prime Minister at Gandhinagar in Gujarat this afternoon. Home Minister Amit Shah says despite challenges, the cooperative movement in the nation went from strength to strength. 12 people killed as a bus falls in a gorge at Jangla village in Kullu district of Himachal Pradesh this morning. President and Prime Minister expressed grief at the tragic incident. In women's cricket, Sri Lanka set a target of 174 runs before India in second ODI at Pallekele. And in Wimbledon tennis, Sania Mirza with her Croatian partner enters mixed doubles quarterfinals after receiving a walkover. And with that, we end the midday news.